"Hands off the merchandise, you little thug," the manager shouted. "I'm just waiting for my dad," Jaden yelled. "Yeah, right, dads like yours don't buy Ferraris, they steal them." Sirens wailed outside. The manager smirked. "Here comes your ride to jail." But he stopped smiling when the police officer walked in and saluted the boy. But before we dive into the full story, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is. Now subscribe to the channel and let's get started. "Williams, you trying to kill my grass or play soccer?" Coach Thompson stood at the edge of the field with his arms crossed. The sun burned hot in the Los Angeles sky. Jaden Williams looked up from where he knelt on the ground, his chest heaving. Sweat dripped down his dark brown face. His red and white Lincoln High School uniform stuck to his skin. "Sorry, Coach," Jaden said between breaths. "Just giving it everything." "That is what I like to see." Coach Thompson smiled and blew his whistle. "All right, everyone bring it in." The team jogged to the center of the field. Jaden's legs felt heavy. They had been running drills for 2 hours straight. It was a Tuesday afternoon in June. School ended for summer break 2 weeks ago, but the varsity soccer team still practiced 3 days each week. Jaden played forward position. He was 17 years old and one of the best players on the team. "Good work today, gentlemen," Coach Thompson said. "We are going to destroy the competition next season. Hit the showers, practice Thursday at 3 o'clock. The players clapped and headed toward the locker rooms. Jaden walked next to his best friend Devin Martinez. Devin was shorter than Jaden but faster. They had played soccer together since they were 10 years old. "Man, I am exhausted," Devin said. He pulled his sweaty shirt away from his chest. "Coach is trying to turn us into Olympic athletes." "For real," Jaden agreed. His white sneakers were no longer white. They were covered in grass stains and dirt. His uniform looked like he rolled in mud. Inside the locker room, the team talked and laughed. The air smelled like sweat and body spray. Jaden sat on the wooden bench and pulled his phone from his bag. He had 3 text messages. One from his girlfriend Amber, one from Devin's brother about a party this weekend, and one from his father. Jaden opened the message from his father first. Marcus Williams always texted in complete sentences with perfect punctuation. The message said, "Meet me at Premier Luxury Motors in Beverly Hills at 4:30. I have a surprise for you." Jaden's heart jumped in his chest. His 18th birthday was in 3 days. On Saturday, June the 15th, he would officially be an adult. "Yo, Devin," Jaden said. He turned the phone toward his friend. "Look at this." Devin read the message and his eyes got wide. "Dude, your pops is getting you a car." "You think so?" "What else would it be? He wants you to meet him at a car dealership." Devin grabbed Jaden's shoulders. "You are getting a car for your birthday." Other teammates heard them talking and came over. Everyone crowded around Jaden's phone. "Premium Luxury Motors?" said Carlos, another player. "That place sells expensive cars. Like really expensive." "Maybe he is getting you a BMW," Devin said. "Or a Mercedes," Carlos added. "Maybe just a Honda," Jaden said. He tried not to get too excited. "My dad is practical. He always says cars are just transportation." But inside, Jaden felt electricity running through his body. His father was Marcus Williams, the founder of Technova Solutions. Everyone in Los Angeles knew that name. Marcus built a software company worth $400 million. They lived in View Park, Windsor Hills, a nice neighborhood. Jaden went to private schools his whole life until high school. He chose Lincoln High because they had the best soccer team in the district. "What time is it?" Jaden asked. Devin checked his phone. 3:45. "I need to go." Jaden stood up fast. He grabbed his backpack and slung it over his shoulder. "Are you not going to shower?" Carlos asked. Jaden looked down at his dirty uniform. Grass stains covered his knees and elbows. Dirt streaked across his chest. His socks were brown instead of white. For a second he thought about changing clothes, but the dealership was in Beverly Hills. The bus ride would take 40 minutes. If he went home first to shower and change, he would be late. "No time," Jaden said. "I will shower later." "Send me pictures of the car," Devon called as Jayden ran out of the locker room. Jayden pushed through the heavy double doors and stepped into the hot afternoon. The sun sat lower in the sky now, but the air still felt like an oven. He walked fast toward the bus stop 3 blocks from school. His backpack bounced against his shoulders. He pulled out his phone and texted his father. "On my way." Marcus replied immediately. "See you soon, son." At the bus stop, Jayden sat on the metal bench. 2 older women sat on the other end. They wore work uniforms and looked tired. A man in construction clothes stood nearby. The bus arrived 7 minutes later. Jayden climbed the steps and paid his fare. He found a seat near the back window. The bus rolled through Los Angeles. Jayden watched the neighborhoods change outside the window. First, they passed houses with small yards and chain-link fences. Then apartment buildings with laundry hanging on balconies. Then nicer areas with trees lining the streets. Finally, they entered Beverly Hills. Everything looked different here. The streets were clean and wide. Palm trees stood tall and perfectly spaced. Jayden saw people walking small dogs. He saw women in designer sunglasses carrying shopping bags. He saw men in business suits talking on phones. Everyone looked wealthy. The bus stopped at Wilshire Boulevard and Beverly Drive. Jayden got off and checked his phone for directions. Premier Luxury Motors was 3 blocks west. He started walking. His dirty sneakers made soft sounds on the clean sidewalk. He passed a store that sold watches. Another store sold handbags. The window displays showed items with price tags that had too many zeros. Then Jayden saw it. Premier Luxury Motors took up half a city block. The building was modern with huge glass windows. Through the windows, Jayden could see shining cars in rows. The glass doors had gold handles. Above the entrance, silver letters spelled out the dealership name. Jayden stood outside for a moment. His reflection looked back at him from the glass. A tall, athletic black teenager in a dirty soccer uniform. He suddenly felt aware of how he looked, but he pushed the thought away. His father always told him that clothes do not define a person. Character defines a person. Jayden pulled open the heavy glass door and walked inside. Cold air conditioning hit his face. The showroom was the most beautiful room Jayden had ever seen. The floor was white marble that reflected the lights above. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceiling. Cars sat in perfect rows. A silver Lamborghini, a black Porsche, a white Bentley. Each car looked like a piece of art, but Jayden's eyes locked on the car in the center of the showroom. A bright red Ferrari 488. A large silver bow sat on top of the hood. "No way," Jayden whispered. His feet moved toward the Ferrari like they had their own brain. His heart pounded so hard he could hear it in his ears. The car was beautiful. The red paint looked wet. The curves were perfect. Chrome wheels caught the light. Jayden looked around the showroom. Salespeople in suits talked to customers. No one paid attention to him. Slowly, Jayden reached out and touched the door handle. It was cool and smooth. He pulled the handle and the door opened with a soft click. The inside of the Ferrari smelled like new leather and expensive materials. The seats were black and looked soft. The steering wheel had the Ferrari logo in the center. The dashboard glowed with digital displays. Jayden looked around one more time. Still, no one watched him. He made a decision. He sat down in the driver's seat. The leather wrapped around him like a hug. His hands gripped the steering wheel. This was real. This was actually happening. His father bought him a Ferrari for his 18th birthday. Jayden pulled out his phone. He needed to send a picture to Devon and Amber. He held the phone up and smiled. He took one selfie, then another, then a third from a different angle. This was the best moment of his life. Above the showroom floor, in a second-story office with windows overlooking everything below, Caitlin Morrison sat at her desk. She was finishing paperwork from a sale earlier that day. She glanced down at the showroom floor the way she did every few minutes. Her eyes stopped on the red Ferrari. A black teenager sat in the driver's seat. He wore filthy clothes covered in dirt and grass. His shoes left marks on the pristine floor. He was taking pictures with his phone. Caitlin's face changed. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes narrowed. She stood up fast. Her chair rolled backward and hit the wall. She walked quickly toward her office door, her high heels clicking on the hard floor. Caitlin Morrison moved fast down the curved staircase. Her hand gripped the railing. Her heels made sharp sounds on each step. Salespeople looked up as she passed. They recognized the expression on her face. Caitlin was about to handle a problem. She crossed the showroom floor in long strides. Her eyes stayed locked on the red Ferrari. The teenager was still sitting in the driver's seat, still taking pictures, still touching things that did not belong to him. "Excuse me," Caitlin said loudly when she was 10 feet away. "Excuse me, you need to step out of that vehicle right now." Jaden heard the voice and looked up from his phone. A white woman in a gray business dress walked toward him. Her blonde hair bounced with each step. Her face looked angry. "Hi," Jaden said. He smiled at her. "I am just waiting for my dad. He texted me to meet him here." Caitlin reached the Ferrari and grabbed the top of the open door. "I said, get out of the car, now." The hardness in her voice surprised Jaden. His smile disappeared. "Okay, sure. I am sorry. I was just—" Caitlin did not let him finish. She grabbed his arm just above the elbow. Her fingers dug into his skin. She pulled hard. "Hey!" Jaden said. "Wait, you do not understand." Caitlin yanked him out of the driver's seat. Jaden stumbled and almost fell. He caught his balance and stood up straight. His backpack slipped off one shoulder. His heart started beating fast, but not from excitement anymore, from fear. "What do you think you're doing?" Caitlin's voice was loud enough that people across the showroom turned to look. "You cannot walk in here and put your dirty hands all over a $300,000 vehicle." "My dad," Jaden started. "I do not care about your dad," Caitlin interrupted. She pointed at his uniform. "Look at you. You are filthy. You are leaving dirt all over my floor, all over that car." Jaden looked down at his soccer uniform. The grass stains. The dirt. He suddenly felt very small. "I came straight from practice. My father sent me a text message. He told me to meet him here. He said he has a surprise for me." A salesman named Brad walked over. He was a white man in his 30s wearing a blue suit. "Everything okay, Caitlin?" "No, everything is not okay," Caitlin said. She kept her eyes on Jaden. "This young man thinks he can just walk in off the street and climb into our inventory." "I did not just walk in off the street," Jaden said. His voice shook a little. "My name is Jaden Williams. My father is Marcus Williams. He owns Technova Solutions. He bought this car for my birthday." Caitlin looked at Jaden's dirty clothes. She looked at his stained sneakers. She looked at his grass-covered knees. Then she laughed. It was a short, cold sound with no humor in it. "Marcus Williams," she repeated. "The Marcus Williams. And he sent his son to pick up a Ferrari wearing that?" "I told you I came from soccer practice," Jaden said. Heat rose in his face. "I did not have time to change. Please just call my dad. He will explain everything." Brad crossed his arms over his chest. He looked Jaden up and down. "Kid, do you know how many people try to pull scams in Beverly Hills? How many kids come in here pretending to be someone they are not?" "I am not pretending," Jaden said. His hands were shaking now. "I can prove it. I have his text message right here." Jaden pulled out his phone. His fingers fumbled on the screen. He found the message from his father and held the phone toward Caitlin. Caitlin did not look at the phone. Anyone can fake a text message. Anyone can type a name into their contacts. "Why would I fake this?" Jaden's voice got higher. "Why would I lie about who my father is?" "Boys like you," Caitlin said slowly, "think you can take whatever you want. Well, not in my showroom, not on my watch." The words hit Jaden like a slap. "Boys like you." He knew exactly what she meant. His father warned him about this his whole life. Jaden always thought his father worried too much, always thought times were different now. Always thought people judged you on your character, not your skin color." He was wrong. More people gathered around now. 2 customers, both white women in expensive clothes, whispered to each other. Another salesman stopped helping his client to watch. A young couple stood near the Porsche staring at Jaden. "Please," Jaden said. He hated how weak his voice sounded. "Please just call my father. His number is right here. He will tell you." "I want you to leave," Caitlin said. "You have 10 seconds to walk out that door before I call the police." "The police?" Jaden's stomach dropped. "I did not do anything wrong." "You are trespassing," Brad said. "You are touching property that does not belong to you. That is a crime." "But my dad bought this car," Jaden said again. He heard how desperate he sounded. He did not care. "He bought it for me. For my birthday. It is in 3 days. June 15th. I turn 18. Please, you have to believe me." Caitlin pulled her phone from her dress pocket. "I gave you a chance to leave. 10 seconds. You chose to stay." "No, wait," Jaden said. His whole body felt cold despite the warm temperature. "Please wait. Just call my dad. Please." Caitlin tapped her phone screen. She brought the phone to her ear. Everyone in the showroom was watching now. Salespeople stopped working. Customers stopped shopping. All eyes were on Jaden. "Yes, hello," Caitlin said into the phone. "I need police at Premier Luxury Motors on Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. We have a suspicious person in our showroom." "I am not suspicious," Jaden said. Tears started forming in his eyes. He blinked hard to push them back. "I am just a kid waiting for my dad." "He has been touching our vehicles," Caitlin continued, talking to the dispatcher. "When I confronted him, he became aggressive. I do not feel safe. Yes, I will stay on the line." "I did not become aggressive," Jaden said louder. He looked at the people watching. "I did not. I just sat in the car. I was taking pictures. That is all I did." No one said anything. The white customers looked uncomfortable, but they did not speak up. The salespeople stayed quiet. Brad stood next to Caitlin with his arms still crossed. Jaden pulled out his phone again. His hands shook so badly he almost dropped it. He called his father. The phone rang, and rang, and rang. Then voicemail. "Dad, please pick up," Jaden whispered. He tried again. More ringing, more voicemail. His father was in a meeting. His phone was turned off. Jaden was alone. "The police are on their way," Caitlin announced to the showroom. She put her phone back in her pocket. "Everyone, please stay calm." Jaden thought about running. Just running out the glass doors and down the street. But his father always taught him what to do if police were called. Stay calm. Keep your hands visible. Do not make sudden movements. Be respectful. Follow instructions. Black men die during police encounters. His father made sure Jaden knew that. Made sure he understood the danger. Jaden put his phone back in his pocket slowly. He let his backpack slide off his shoulder to the floor. He stood very still with his hands at his sides where everyone could see them. "I did not do anything wrong," he said quietly. "I just came to meet my dad." No one responded. They just watched him, waiting. Within 5 minutes, Jaden heard the sirens. At first, they were far away. Then they got closer, closer, right outside. Through the glass windows, Jaden saw red and blue lights flashing. 2 police cars pulled up to the front of the dealership. The lights reflected off the marble floor, off the crystal chandeliers, off the polished cars. 4 police officers stepped out of the vehicles. 2 white officers, 1 Asian American officer, 1 black officer. They adjusted their belts and walked toward the entrance. Jaden's legs felt weak. His mouth was dry. His heart pounded against his ribs. This could not be happening. This was supposed to be the best day of his life. He was supposed to get his birthday surprise. He was supposed to take pictures and send them to his friends. He was supposed to drive home in a Ferrari with his father laughing next to him. Instead, he was about to be questioned by police for doing nothing wrong. The glass doors opened. The 4 officers walked inside. The officers spread out as they entered the showroom. Their boots were heavy on the marble floor. Their radios crackled with static. Jaden's eyes moved from one officer to the next. He tried to read their faces, tried to understand what would happen. Caitlin walked quickly toward them. Her heels clicked with each step. She pointed back at Jaden. "Officers, thank you for coming so quickly," she said. Her voice was different now, softer, worried. "That young man over there attempted to steal one of our vehicles. When I confronted him, he became verbally aggressive." "That is not true," Jaden said immediately. His voice came out louder than he meant. "I did not try to steal anything. I did not become aggressive." "Son, keep your voice down," said one of the white officers. He was older, maybe in his 40s, with gray hair at his temples. His name tag said Davis. "We will get your side in a moment." Officer Davis walked toward Jaden. The other 3 officers followed behind him. The Asian American officer looked younger, maybe in his early 30s. His name tag said Chen. The other 2 officers stayed back near the entrance. "Ma'am, can you tell us exactly what happened?" Officer Davis asked Caitlin. "I was working in my office upstairs," Caitlin said. She touched her chest like her heart was racing. "I looked down and saw this young man sitting in our most expensive vehicle, a Ferrari worth over $300,000. He was touching everything, taking pictures. I came down and asked him politely to exit the vehicle." "She grabbed my arm," Jaden interrupted. "She pulled me out of the car." "I did no such thing," Caitlin said. She looked at Officer Davis with wide eyes. "I asked him to leave. He refused. He said his father bought the car, but he could not provide any proof. When I told him he needed to leave the property, he started yelling." "I did not yell," Jaden said. His hands formed fists at his sides. Then he remembered his father's lessons. He opened his hands, kept them visible. "I tried to show her a text message from my dad. She would not look at it." Brad stepped forward. "Officer, I witnessed the whole thing. This kid has been hostile since the moment Caitlin approached him. We see this all the time in Beverly Hills. People come in pretending they can afford things, touching merchandise. Sometimes they steal accessories from the cars." "I did not steal anything," Jaden said. He looked at the officers. "You can check my bag. You can check my pockets. I did not take anything." "Let's all stay calm," Officer Chen said. He looked at Jaden. "What is your name, son?" "Jaden Williams." "How old are you, Jaden?" 17. I turn 18 on Saturday." "Do you have identification?" Officer Chen asked. "Yes, sir." Jaden reached slowly for his back pocket. He remembered every lesson his father taught him. "Move slowly. Announce what you are doing. No sudden movements." "I am reaching for my wallet. It is in my back right pocket." "Go ahead," Officer Chen said. Jaden pulled out his wallet. His hands still shook. He opened it and took out his student ID from Lincoln High School. He handed it to Officer Chen. The officer looked at the card. "Lincoln High." "You play sports?" "Soccer," Jaden said. "I came here straight from practice. That is why my uniform is dirty. My father sent me a text message. He told me to meet him here. He said he had a surprise for me. My birthday is in 3 days." "Your father's name?" Officer Davis asked. "Marcus Williams. He owns Technova Solutions. It is a software company downtown." Officer Davis and Officer Chen looked at each other. Something passed between them, but Jaden could not read it. "Marcus Williams," Officer Davis repeated. "The tech entrepreneur." "Yes, sir," Jaden said. Hope rose in his chest. "You know him?" "I know of him," Officer Davis said. His tone did not change. "That does not explain why you are here alone in dirty clothes touching vehicles." "I told you. My dad sent me a text." Jaden pulled out his phone. "I can show you." "Let me see the phone," Officer Chen said. Jaden handed it over. Officer Chen scrolled through the messages. He read the text from Marcus. He showed it to Officer Davis. "This just says to meet him here," Officer Davis said. "It does not say anything about a car purchase." "Because it is a surprise," Jaden said. "For my birthday. The Ferrari has a bow on it. Right there, you can see it." Caitlin laughed softly. "Officers, we put bows on vehicles for display purposes all the time. That car is not sold. That car belongs to this dealership." "Call my father," Jaden pleaded. "Please just call him. He will explain everything." "We see this scam frequently," Brad said. He shook his head. "Young people come in. They research wealthy business people online. They pretend to be related to them. They gain trust and then steal." "I am not running a scam," Jaden said. His voice cracked. "I am his son. I can prove it. Call him. His number is in my phone. It says Dad right there." "Anyone can program a name into a phone," Caitlin said. More customers gathered around. Jaden saw an older white couple holding hands, a middle-aged white woman in a business suit, a younger white man with shopping bags. All of them watched him. Some whispered to each other. Some held up their phones recording video. Jaden wanted to scream. He wanted to cry. He wanted to disappear. Instead, he stood very still and kept his voice calm. "Please," he said to Officer Chen, "please just call the number. You will see. You will see I am telling the truth." Officer Chen looked at Officer Davis. "We should verify his story." Officer Davis nodded slowly. "Jaden, we are going to step outside. You can try calling your father from there." "Why do we have to go outside?" Jaden asked. "Why cannot we wait here?" "The manager asked you to leave the property," Officer Davis said. "You stayed. That is trespassing. Until we verify your story, you need to wait outside." Jaden felt sick. Everyone was staring at him. The customers, the salespeople. All these white faces looking at him like he was a criminal. He saw a woman take a picture with her phone. He saw a man recording video. This would be online. People would see this. People from his school, his teammates, everyone. "Okay," Jaden said quietly. "I will go outside." Officer Chen handed back Jaden's phone and student ID. Officer Davis picked up Jaden's backpack from the floor. The 4 officers walked Jaden to the glass doors. He kept his head down, kept his hands where they could see them, walked slowly. Outside, the afternoon sun was still hot. The red and blue lights from the police cars flashed against the buildings. People on the sidewalk stopped to stare. A woman pulled her small dog closer. A man in a suit crossed to the other side of the street. Jaden stood on the sidewalk with the 4 officers around him. He had never felt more alone in his life. "Call your father," Officer Chen said. Jaden unlocked his phone. His fingers felt numb. He pressed Dad and waited. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Then his father's voicemail. "He is not answering," Jaden said. "Try again," Officer Davis said. Jaden tried again. More ringing, more voicemail. His father was definitely in a meeting. Marcus always turned his phone off during important meetings. He said it was disrespectful to take calls when people were trying to do business. "Still no answer," Jaden said. "Do you have another number for him?" Officer Chen asked. "His office. I can try his office." Jaden found the number and called. It rang 8 times. Then a recorded message said the office was closed for the day. "No one is there." Officer Davis crossed his arms. "Is there anyone else who can verify your story, your mother?" "She died," Jaden said. 6 years ago, cancer. Other family? A guardian? Just my dad. He is all I have." The officers looked at each other again. Jaden saw doubt in their faces. They did not believe him. They thought he was lying. They thought he was some kid who walked into a dealership to take pictures and touch expensive things he could never afford. "Keep trying the number," Officer Davis said. "We will wait." Jaden called again. Voicemail, again, voicemail, again, voicemail. He sent text messages. "Dad, please call me. Dad, I need you. Dad, please pick up." 5 minutes passed, then 10, then 15. The sun moved lower in the sky. Cars drove past. People walked by and stared. Jaden kept calling, kept texting. His father did not respond. 20 minutes after the police arrived, Jaden's phone buzzed in his hand. A text message from Dad. Jaden opened it with shaking hands. The message had one word: coming. "He is coming," Jaden said to the officers. Relief flooded through him. "My dad, he is coming. He texted me." Officer Chen looked at the message. "How far away is he?" "I do not know," Jaden said. "But he is coming. He will be here soon. You will see. You will see I was telling the truth." Officer Davis nodded. "We will wait." So they waited. Jaden stood on the sidewalk. The officers stood around him. The police lights kept flashing. People kept staring, and Jaden prayed his father would arrive soon. 10 more minutes passed. Then Jaden heard the sound of engines. 3 black SUVs with dark-tinted windows turned onto Wilshire Boulevard. They drove fast. They pulled up to the dealership and stopped right behind the police cars. The doors of the first SUV opened. 3 men in black suits stepped out. They were large men with serious faces, security guards. Then the back door of the second SUV opened. A tall black man stepped onto the sidewalk wearing a navy suit that probably cost more than most people's cars. A gold Rolex caught the sunlight. His beard had streaks of gray. His eyes were hard. Marcus Williams had arrived. Marcus walked across the sidewalk. His security guard stayed close but gave him space. Every step was deliberate, controlled. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with something dangerous. Officer Davis recognized him immediately. His mouth opened slightly. His hand, which had been resting near his belt, dropped to his side. His whole posture changed. "Mr. Williams," Officer Davis said. He straightened his shoulders. "Sir, I did not realize—" Marcus walked past him without a word. He went straight to Jaden. He put both hands on his son's shoulders and looked into his face, searched his eyes. "Are you hurt?" Marcus asked. "No," Jaden said. His voice was small. "Dad, Did anyone touch you?" The manager grabbed my arm. She pulled me out of the car. Marcus's jaw tightened. He pulled Jaden into a hug. Jaden buried his face in his father's shoulder. He was 17 years old and nearly a man, but right now he felt like a scared child. "I am here," Marcus said quietly. "I am here now. You are safe." Officer Chen stepped forward. "Mr. Williams, I am Officer Chen. This is Officer Davis. We responded to a call about a suspicious person at the dealership." Marcus let go of Jaden but kept one arm around his shoulders. He turned to face the officers. When he spoke, his voice was cold and calm. "My 17-year-old son is suspicious?" "We received a report of attempted theft," Officer Davis said. His voice was different now, respectful, almost apologetic. "We were following protocol." "What protocol requires you to detain a minor for 30 minutes without attempting to verify his identity?" Marcus asked. "We asked him to call you," Officer Chen said. "You did not answer." "I was in a meeting," Marcus said. "My phone was off. Did you try my office? Did you look up my company? Did you do any investigation at all before you pulled my son out of that building and made him stand here with 4 officers like a criminal?" Officer Davis shifted his weight. "Sir, we understand you are upset." "Upset?" Marcus interrupted. His voice stayed level, but something sharp entered it. "Do you have children, Officer Davis?" "Yes, sir. 2 daughters." "Imagine one of your daughters goes to meet you somewhere. She sits in a car. Someone calls the police and lies, says she tried to steal it. Imagine her standing on a sidewalk for 30 minutes with officers surrounding her while people record her on their phones. Imagine that video going online. Imagine her face attached to the word thief. Are you upset? Or are you something beyond upset?" Officer Davis said nothing. Marcus looked at Officer Chen. "What about you?" "I have a son," Officer Chen said. "I understand, sir." "Do you?" Marcus asked. "Do you understand what it feels like to see 15 missed calls from your child? To see a text that says just one word, help? Do you understand the fear I felt driving here? Every terrible possibility running through my mind?" "Mr. Williams, we were doing our job," Officer Davis said. "Your job is to protect and serve," Marcus said. "Tell me how you protected my son." Tell me how you served him." Neither officer had an answer. Marcus turned to Jaden. "Tell me everything that happened. Start from the beginning." Jaden's voice shook as he spoke. He told his father about getting the text message, about taking the bus to Beverly Hills, about walking into the dealership and seeing the red Ferrari with the bow, about sitting in the driver's seat to take a picture, about the manager rushing down and grabbing his arm, about her refusing to look at his phone, about her calling him "boys like you," about the police arriving, about standing outside for 30 minutes while everyone stared. As Jaden talked, Marcus's expression did not change, but his jaw muscles kept clenching. His hands formed fists and then relaxed. Formed fists and then relaxed. When Jaden finished, Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at Officer Davis. "You know who I am?" Marcus said. It was not a question. "Yes, sir," Officer Davis said. "I attended the Police Athletic League charity dinner last year. You donated $2 million to the youth programs." "Then you know I do not make careless accusations," Marcus said. "You know I deal in facts. So here is a fact. My son was racially profiled in that dealership. He was assaulted by the manager. She lied to you and you believed her immediately. You detained a minor without proper verification. I will be speaking with your captain. I will be speaking with the police chief. And I will be reviewing every policy that allowed this to happen." Officer Davis's face went pale. "Sir, I understand you are angry, but we followed procedure." "Your procedure is flawed," Marcus said, "and I will make sure it changes." He took Jaden's hand. "Come with me." Marcus walked toward the glass doors of Premier Luxury Motors. His security guards followed. Jaden walked next to his father. The officers stayed outside on the sidewalk. When Marcus pushed through the doors, every person in the showroom turned to look. Conversations stopped. Salespeople froze. Customers stared. Caitlin Morrison stood near the red Ferrari. She was talking to Brad in a low voice. When she saw Marcus Williams enter with his security team, her face changed. The color drained from her cheeks. Her eyes went wide. She recognized him. Everyone in Los Angeles business circles knew Marcus Williams. His face was in the newspaper, on business magazine covers, at charity events. Marcus walked slowly across the marble floor. His expensive shoes made soft sounds. Jaden stayed close to his side. The security guards positioned themselves near the door. Caitlin tried to smile. She smoothed her dress and walked toward Marcus with her hand extended. "Mr. Williams," she said. Her voice was too high, too bright. "What a pleasure to see you. I am Caitlin Morrison, the manager here at Premier." "You put your hands on my son," Marcus said. He did not shake her hand. He did not smile. "You grabbed his arm and pulled him out of that vehicle." Caitlin's hand dropped to her side. "Sir, there was a misunderstanding. I did not know he was your son." "Why would you need to know who his father is?" Marcus asked. "Why would that matter?" "I just meant," Caitlin stammered. "He was sitting in an expensive car and he was what?" Marcus's voice was quiet, but it cut through the air. "Finish your sentence." Caitlin looked at Jaden's dirty uniform. "He looked like he could not afford—" "He looked like what?" Marcus asked again. "Say what you really mean." Caitlin's mouth opened, but no words came out. Other salespeople watched from a distance. Brad started to walk away, but one of Marcus's security guards blocked his path. "You saw a black teenager in dirty clothes," Marcus said. "And you decided he did not belong here. You decided he must be stealing. You did not ask questions. You did not verify anything. You grabbed him. You called the police. You lied and said he was aggressive. You tried to destroy my son's life because of what he looked like." "No," Caitlin said quickly. "No, I would never. I am not—" "Answer a simple question," Marcus said. "If a white teenager in a dirty soccer uniform sat in that Ferrari, would you have grabbed him? Would you have called the police?" Caitlin opened her mouth, then closed it. She looked at the floor. "Look at me when I am speaking to you," Marcus said. Caitlin lifted her eyes. Tears formed in them. "Mr. Williams, please. This is all a terrible mistake. I apologize. I am so sorry. Please, I have worked here for 15 years. I have 2 children. I need this job." "My son is someone's child too," Marcus said. "Did you think about that when you grabbed him, when you humiliated him in front of all these people?" "I am sorry," Caitlin whispered. Marcus pulled his phone from his pocket. He pressed a number and put the phone on speaker. It rang twice. A woman's voice answered. "Rebecca Stone." "Rebecca, it is Marcus. I am at Premier Luxury Motors in Beverly Hills. I need you to cancel the Ferrari purchase immediately." "Consider it done," Rebecca said. Her voice was professional and calm. "What else do you need?" "Find out who owns this building," Marcus said. He looked around the showroom. "The property. The land. I want to know if it is for sale." The showroom was silent. Everyone heard Marcus's words through the speaker. Caitlin's hand went to her mouth. Brad's face turned red. "I will have that information within the hour," Rebecca said. "Thank you." Marcus ended the call. Caitlin stared at him. "Mr. Williams, please. You do not have to do this. We can fix this, please." Marcus looked at her for a long moment. Then he turned to Jaden. "Let's go home, son." They walked toward the door. At the entrance, Marcus stopped. He turned back and looked at Caitlin one more time. "You should start looking for a new job," he said. Then Marcus Williams walked out of Premier Luxury Motors with his son beside him and his security team behind him. The black SUV pulled away from the curb. Jaden sat in the back seat next to his father. One security guard drove. Another sat in the passenger seat. The third followed in a separate vehicle behind them. Jaden looked out the window. He watched Beverly Hills pass by, the clean streets, the expensive stores, the people walking their dogs. Everything looked the same as when he arrived. But Jaden felt completely different. Marcus said nothing. He checked his phone, sent several text messages, made one quick call to someone named David about rearranging tomorrow's meetings. His voice was calm and professional, like nothing had happened. When Marcus finished the call, he put his phone away. He looked at Jaden. "How are you feeling?" Marcus asked. Jaden did not know how to answer. He felt too many things at once. Angry, embarrassed, scared, confused. He tried to find the right words. "I do not understand," Jaden said finally. "I was just sitting in a car. I was just taking pictures." "Why did she do that to me?" "Because she saw your skin color before she saw you as a person," Marcus said. "But that is crazy," Jaden said. His voice got louder. "That does not make sense. We are in Beverly Hills, in California. This is not the South in the 1960s. Things are different now." "Are they?" Marcus asked quietly. Jaden turned to look at his father. "You always told me things like this could happen. You always warned me. I thought you were being paranoid. I thought you worried too much." "I wish I was paranoid," Marcus said. "I wish I worried too much. But this is the world we live in, Jaden. This is the reality." "It is not fair," Jaden said. Tears formed in his eyes. He tried to blink them away, but they came anyway. "I did not do anything wrong. I was just excited about my birthday present. I just wanted to take a picture." "Why did she grab me? Why did she call the police?" "Because she made assumptions based on how you looked," Marcus said. "She saw a young black man in dirty clothes and decided you were a criminal. She did not ask questions. She did not think. She just acted on her prejudice." "But I could have died," Jaden said. The tears ran down his face now. "Dad, I could have died. If those cops thought I was dangerous, if I moved wrong, if I said the wrong thing, I could have died over nothing." Marcus pulled Jaden close. He held his son while Jaden cried. Marcus's own eyes were wet, but he did not let the tears fall. Not yet. He needed to be strong for Jaden. "I know," Marcus said. "I know. That fear you felt? I live with that every single day. Every time you leave the house. Every time you drive somewhere. Every time you are out in the world without me. I worry that someone will see you as a threat instead of seeing you as my brilliant, kind, talented son." They sat in silence for several minutes. The SUV merged onto the freeway heading toward View Park, Windsor Hills. Traffic was heavy. The sun was getting lower in the sky. Jaden wiped his face with his hands. What happens now? "Now we make sure this does not happen to someone else," Marcus said. "How?" "By changing things," Marcus said. "By using the resources we have to create something better." "You really want to buy that building?" Jaden asked. "Yes." "Why? Is it revenge?" Marcus shook his head. "Revenge is small. Revenge is temporary. What I want is change, real change. That building can become something meaningful, something that helps young people like you, young people who deserve opportunities but get judged before they even open their mouths." Jaden was quiet. He looked at his father. Marcus stared straight ahead. His jaw was tight. His hands rested on his knees. He looked calm, but Jaden knew better. His father was furious. He just controlled it better than most people. "That lady is going to lose her job," Jaden said. "Yes. Does that bother you?" "No," Marcus said. "She made a choice. Choices have consequences. She chose to grab you. She chose to call the police. She chose to lie and say you were aggressive. Those choices could have gotten you killed. Now she has to live with the consequences of those choices." "What about the dealership owner? What about him?" "Is he going to lose his business?" Jaden asked. "That depends on several factors," Marcus said. "If he sells the building to me, he can relocate his business. If he refuses, he will have other problems. Rebecca is researching code violations and other issues right now." Jaden looked out the window again. He thought about the Ferrari with the silver bow. He thought about how excited he was walking into that showroom. That excitement felt like it happened years ago instead of hours ago. "I do not even want a Ferrari anymore," Jaden said. "You do not have to want one," Marcus said. "When your birthday comes, we will figure out what you actually want. Not what I think you should have. What you want." The SUV exited the freeway. They drove through their neighborhood. Large houses sat behind gates and walls. Trees lined the streets. This was one of the wealthiest black neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Jaden grew up here. He always felt safe here. But now he understood that safety only existed in certain spaces. Once he left his neighborhood, once he entered places like Beverly Hills, he was judged differently. His father's money did not protect him. His good grades did not protect him. Nothing protected him from people who saw his skin and made up their minds about who he was. The SUV pulled into the driveway of their house. It was a large Spanish-style home with a red tile roof. Marcus bought it 12 years ago when his company started making real money. Jaden's mother picked out every detail. She died before she got to enjoy it very long. They got out of the vehicle. The security guards drove away. Marcus unlocked the front door and they went inside. The house was cool and quiet. The housekeeper left at 3 o'clock every day. They were alone. "Are you hungry?" Marcus asked. "No," Jaden said. "I just want to lie down." "Go rest," Marcus said. "I have some calls to make." Jaden walked up the stairs to his room. He dropped his backpack on the floor. He sat on his bed still wearing his dirty soccer uniform. He pulled out his phone. 23 messages from Devon. 16 from Amber. Messages from other teammates. Everyone asking where he was. Asking about the car. Asking if everything was okay. Jaden did not know how to respond. He put his phone face down on the nightstand. He lay back on his bed and stared at the ceiling. Downstairs, Marcus went to his home office. He closed the door and sat behind his desk. His phone rang. Rebecca Stone. "Talk to me," Marcus said. "The building is owned by Patterson Real Estate Holdings," Rebecca said. "That is Gerald Patterson's company. He inherited the dealership from his father. The property is worth approximately $15 million, maybe $18 million at the high end." What else? Gerald has debt, Rebecca said. The luxury car market has been difficult the last few years. Sales are down 32% at his dealership. He has 3 code violations on the property, electrical issues, fire safety issues. If those get reported to the city, he is looking at expensive repairs and possible closure during inspection. Did you report them? Marcus asked. Not yet, Rebecca said. I wanted to talk to you first. Make an offer on the building, Marcus said. $18 million. Give him 48 hours to respond. If he refuses, file complaints about the code violations with the city. Understood, Rebecca said. Marcus, are you sure about this? $18 million is a lot for a property that size. There are better investments. This is not about investment returns, Marcus said. This is about my son. This is about every other black child who walks into a space and gets treated like a criminal. I want that building. Whatever it takes. I will draft the offer tonight, Rebecca said. Anything else? Contact William Grant, Marcus said. Tell him what happened. Ask if he wants to be involved in what I am planning. What are you planning? A youth center, Marcus said. Business education, mentorship, opportunities for kids who get counted out before they even start. I want William on the board. He will say yes, Rebecca said. You know he will. I know, Marcus said, but ask him properly anyway. They talked for another 10 minutes about strategy and logistics. When Marcus hung up, he sat in his chair for a long moment. Then he opened his desk drawer and pulled out a photograph. Teresa, his wife, Jaden's mother. She smiled in the picture. She wore a yellow dress. Her hand rested on her pregnant belly. Jaden was not born yet. Our boy was scared today, Marcus said to the photograph. He was terrified. I should have been there faster. I should have protected him. Marcus put the photograph back in the drawer. He stood up and went upstairs. He knocked softly on Jaden's door. Come in, Jaden called. Marcus opened the door. Jaden was still lying on his bed in his dirty uniform. Take a shower, Marcus said. Then come down. We need to talk about what happens next. Are you really going to buy that building? Jaden asked. Yes. And turn it into a youth center? Half of it, Marcus said. The other half will stay a dealership, but with new management, new policies, a place where everyone gets treated with respect. Jaden sat up. Can I help? Marcus looked at his son. This is happening because of you. Of course you can help. This will be our project. Together. For the first time since the incident, Jaden smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. The next morning, Jaden woke up at 7 o'clock. He showered and put on clean clothes, dark jeans and a white t-shirt. When he came downstairs, his father was already dressed in a gray suit. Marcus stood in the kitchen drinking coffee and reading something on his tablet. Good morning, Marcus said. How did you sleep? Not great, Jaden admitted. I kept thinking about yesterday. That is normal, Marcus said. Trauma does not disappear overnight, but we are going to do something productive with it. Get some breakfast. We have a meeting at 9 o'clock. A meeting? At Technova, Marcus said. I want you there. They ate breakfast together. Marcus made scrambled eggs and toast. They did not talk much. Jaden could tell his father's mind was already working through plans and strategies. At 8:30, they drove downtown to the Technova Solutions building. It was a modern glass tower in the financial district, 23 floors. Marcus's company occupied the top 5 floors. They took the elevator to the 23rd floor. The executive offices were here. Floor-to-ceiling windows showed views of the city. Employees greeted Marcus as they walked through the halls. Everyone said good morning to Jaden, too. He had visited this building many times over the years. They entered a large conference room. A long table filled the center. 8 people already sat around it. Jaden recognized most of them. Rebecca Stone, his father's lawyer, sat at the far end with a laptop open. David Chen, the chief financial officer, sat to her right. There were other executives and advisors Jaden had met at company events. Good morning, everyone, Marcus said. Thank you for coming on short notice. Most of you know my son Jaden. He is joining us today because this meeting concerns him." Everyone said hello to Jaden. He sat in a chair along the wall, not at the table. He felt nervous. He had never been in a real business meeting before. "Rebecca, please present what you found," Marcus said. Rebecca stood and pressed a button. A screen on the wall lit up. It showed a photo of Premier Luxury Motors, then architectural drawings, then property documents. Premier Luxury Motors operates in a building owned by Patterson Real Estate Holdings, Rebecca said. Gerald Patterson is the owner. He inherited the dealership and the property from his father 31 years ago. The current market value of the property is between $15 and $18 million. She clicked to the next slide. Financial charts appeared. However, Gerald Patterson has significant financial problems. The luxury car market has declined 32% in the Los Angeles area over the last 2 years. His sales are down 41% specifically. He has outstanding debt of approximately $6 million. Another click. Photos of electrical panels and fire safety equipment appeared. The building has 3 code violations, Rebecca continued. 1 electrical, 2 related to fire safety. These violations have existed for 18 months. If reported to the city, Gerald would face mandatory closure during repairs. Repair costs would be substantial. He would also face fines. David Chen raised his hand. "Rebecca, what is the likelihood the city already knows about these violations?" "Low," Rebecca said. "They were noted during a private safety inspection Gerald commissioned last year. The inspector recommended repairs, but Gerald has not completed them, probably due to cost." Marcus leaned forward. "What happens if we report the violations?" "The city sends inspectors within 2 weeks," Rebecca said. "They verify the violations. They issue a notice of closure. Gerald has 30 days to fix everything, or the building shuts down until repairs are complete." "How long would repairs take?" Marcus asked. 4 to 6 months, Rebecca said. "During that time, Gerald cannot operate his business. He loses all revenue. He still has to pay his debt. He would likely face bankruptcy." The room was quiet. Jaden watched his father's face. Marcus showed no emotion, he just processed information. "Here is what I want," Marcus said. "Make an offer to purchase the property for $18 million. Give Gerald 48 hours to respond. If he accepts, we close quickly. If he refuses, file complaints about the code violations with the city." David Chen cleared his throat. "Marcus, I have to ask, is this a sound investment? $18 million is substantial. What is our return?" "This is not about return on investment," Marcus said. "This is about creating change. This is about building something that matters." "But from a fiduciary responsibility perspective," David started. "David, I appreciate your concern," Marcus interrupted gently. "But this is my personal money, not company money. I can spend it however I choose, and I choose to spend it on this." David nodded. "Understood." Marcus looked around the table. "I want to convert half of that building into a youth center. The Williams Youth Business Center. It will provide free business education, mentorship, and resources to young people from underserved communities, particularly young people of color who face discrimination in traditional spaces." "What about the other half of the building?" asked an executive named Jennifer. "It remains a car dealership," Marcus said, "but under new management, with strict anti-discrimination policies. Every customer gets treated with respect regardless of appearance or background." Rebecca made notes on her laptop. "I can have the purchase offer drafted by this afternoon." "Good," Marcus said. "I also want to contact the Los Angeles Times. Tell them what happened to Jaden, but ask them to hold the story until after the property purchase closes. I do not want Gerald to refuse the offer just because he is angry about media attention." "I know someone at the Times," said another executive. "I can make that call." "Do it," Marcus said. "One more thing. Contact William Grant. Tell him I need to speak with him today." Rebecca nodded. William will want to be involved. I know, Marcus said. That is why I am calling him. The meeting continued for another hour. They discussed budgets and timelines and legal strategies. Jaden listened to everything. He was amazed at how his father thought through every detail, how he planned 3 steps ahead of everyone else. When the meeting ended, people filed out of the conference room. Rebecca stayed behind with Marcus and Jaden. Can I speak freely? Rebecca asked. Always, Marcus said. Gerald Patterson will fight this, Rebecca said. He comes from old money. His family has owned that dealership for 60 years. He will not want to sell to you. He will not have a choice, Marcus said. He might try to make this ugly, Rebecca warned. He might say you are using your wealth as a weapon, that you are trying to destroy him. Let him say what he wants, Marcus said. The truth is simple. His employee assaulted my son. She lied to police. She could have gotten Jaden killed. Now there are consequences. If Gerald wants to paint me as the villain, that is his choice. Rebecca closed her laptop. I will send the offer this afternoon. After Rebecca left, Marcus turned to Jaden. What did you think? It was intense, Jaden said. All that planning, all those details. That is business, Marcus said. Every decision requires strategy. Every action requires thinking through the consequences. Do you want to be more involved in the planning? Yes, Jaden said immediately. I want to help with the youth center. Good, Marcus said, because I need your perspective. You are closer to the age of the kids we want to serve. You understand what they need better than I do. Over the next week, Jaden went to Technova every day. Marcus set up a temporary workspace for him in an empty office. Jaden researched other youth centers in Los Angeles. He made lists of programs and services. He talked to his friends Devin and Amber about what would actually be useful. On the 3rd day, Jaden had an idea. He went to his father's office and knocked on the open door. Dad, can I suggest something? Jaden asked. Of course, Marcus said. He closed his laptop and gave Jaden his full attention. I think the center should have a sports entrepreneurship program, Jaden said. A lot of kids love sports. They dream about playing professionally, but most of them will not make it. They need to know there are other ways to build careers in sports, marketing, management, media, sports medicine, all of that. Marcus smiled. That is a brilliant idea. We can partner with universities, bring in professors who teach sports management, bring in athletes who started successful businesses. Yes, Jaden said excitedly, and we should have food, like actual meals. Devin said kids will come to anything if there is free food. A lot of kids in Los Angeles do not have enough to eat. If we feed them, they will show up. And once they are there, they will learn. Marcus stood and walked around his desk. He put his hand on Jaden's shoulder. You are going to make this center special. These ideas are exactly what we need. Jaden felt warm pride in his chest. For the first time since the incident, he felt like something good was coming from something terrible. On day 5, Marcus called a nutritionist. They designed a meal program with healthy food for teenagers. On day 6, Marcus contacted the business school at UCLA. 3 professors volunteered to teach classes at the center. On day 8, Rebecca walked into Marcus's office. Jaden was there working on his laptop. Rebecca's face was serious. Gerald Patterson's lawyer just called, Rebecca said. Marcus looked up. And Gerald accepts the offer, Rebecca said. $18 million. He wants to close in 30 days. Marcus leaned back in his chair. He had no choice. His lawyer said Gerald is very upset, Rebecca said. He feels like you forced his hand. I did force his hand, Marcus said. He created a workplace where discrimination was acceptable. His employee assaulted my son. He should be upset. He should feel ashamed. Rebecca smiled slightly. I will start the closing process. After Rebecca left, Jaden looked at his father. You did it. You are buying the building. We are buying the building, Marcus corrected. This is our project, yours and mine. Jaden saved the document he was working on. What happens to that manager? Caitlin? She gets fired, Marcus said, the moment I take ownership. Does that feel like justice to you? Jaden asked. Marcus thought for a moment. Justice would be her understanding what she did, understanding the harm she caused, understanding how her prejudice could have ended your life. I do not know if she will ever understand that. But at minimum, she will face consequences. And maybe those consequences will make her think. Maybe they will change her. Or maybe they will not. Either way, she will not be in a position to harm another young person. Jaden nodded slowly. He thought about Caitlin's face when his father walked into the dealership. The fear in her eyes. Part of him felt sorry for her. But another part of him remembered standing on that sidewalk with police surrounding him. Remembered thinking he might die. Remembered the terror. I am glad you are my dad, Jaden said quietly. Marcus looked at his son. His eyes were soft. I am glad you are my son. The property sale closed 3 weeks later. Marcus paid $18 million in cash. The transaction was fast and efficient. Gerald Patterson had no way to stop it. The code violations alone would have bankrupted him. On a Wednesday morning in July, Rebecca Stone arrived at Premier Luxury Motors at 9 o'clock. She carried a leather folder under her arm. She wore a black suit and her expression was professional and cold. Caitlin Morrison was at her desk in the upstairs office. She was reviewing inventory reports when her assistant knocked on the door. Miss Morrison, there is a lawyer here to see you, the assistant said. Caitlin's stomach dropped. She knew who it was. She knew what was coming. For 3 weeks, she could barely sleep. She checked the news every day. She waited for the story to break. She waited for her world to fall apart. Send her up, Caitlin said. Rebecca climbed the stairs and entered Caitlin's office without knocking. She placed the leather folder on the desk. Ms. Morrison, I am Rebecca Stone. I represent Marcus Williams, the new owner of this property. I know who you are, Caitlin said quietly. Rebecca opened the folder and removed a document. This is your termination letter. Your employment is ended effective immediately. You have 30 minutes to collect your personal belongings. You are not permitted to take any company property. Security will escort you out. Caitlin's hands shook. Please, I have 2 children. I need this job. I cannot afford. Jaden Williams is also someone's child, Rebecca said. Her voice was sharp. You showed him no mercy when you grabbed him, when you called the police, when you lied and said he was aggressive. You could have gotten that boy killed. Now you face the consequences of your choices. I made a mistake, Caitlin said. Tears ran down her face. I am sorry. I am so sorry. Sorry does not undo trauma, Rebecca said. Sorry does not erase the fear that boy felt. Sorry does not change the fact that you racially profiled him and then lied to police. Rebecca placed 2 more documents on the desk. These are termination letters for Brad Simmons and David Walsh. They supported your false statements to police. They are also fired. Give these to them before you leave. Caitlin stared at the papers. Her whole body felt numb. You have 28 minutes remaining, Rebecca said. She turned and walked out of the office. Caitlin sat alone for several minutes. Then she opened her desk drawers. She pulled out a few personal items. A coffee mug her daughter gave her. A photo of her children. Some makeup from her purse. She left everything else. She walked downstairs with the 2 termination letters. She found Brad near the Lamborghini talking to a customer. She handed him the letter without speaking. His face went white as he read it. This is insane, Brad said. This is revenge. This is what we deserve, Caitlin said quietly. She walked away before he could respond. She found David at his desk in the back office. She gave him his letter. He read it and threw it on the floor. He cursed loudly. Other employees stared. Caitlin did not say goodbye to anyone. She collected her small box of belongings and walked to the exit. A security guard she did not recognize stood by the door. He watched her leave. She got in her car and sat in the parking lot. She had worked at Premier Luxury Motors for 15 years. It was the only job she was good at, the only place where she felt important. Now it was gone. She drove home to her apartment in Culver City. She went inside and put her box on the kitchen counter. Then she sat on her couch and cried. Meanwhile, Marcus hired architects and contractors. He met with them at the Premier Luxury Motors building. Gerald Patterson had already moved most of his inventory to a temporary location in Santa Monica. The showroom was nearly empty. "I want to divide the space in half," Marcus explained. He pointed to the left side of the building. "This half becomes the Williams Youth Business Center. Modern classrooms, a computer lab with 25 stations, a media room for students interested in content creation, a commercial kitchen for culinary entrepreneurship programs." The lead architect made notes on his tablet. "What about the other half?" "That stays a car dealership," Marcus said. "Williams Premium Motors. Same business, different values. We keep it clean and professional but welcoming. No intimidation, no judgment." "When do you want to start construction?" the architect asked. "Immediately," Marcus said. "I want this finished in 4 months." The architect looked surprised. 4 months is aggressive." "I will pay whatever it takes to meet that timeline," Marcus said. Construction began the following week. Workers removed walls and built new ones. They installed electrical systems and new lighting. They painted everything bright colors: white walls, blue accent walls, large windows to let in natural light. Marcus hired a new manager for the dealership side. Her name was Keisha Johnson. She was a 45-year-old black woman who previously managed a luxury dealership in Atlanta. She had 20 years of experience and excellent reviews from customers. Marcus interviewed her at Technova. Jaden sat in the meeting too. "Ms. Johnson, tell me about your management philosophy," Marcus said. "Respect," Keisha said simply. "Every customer deserves respect. I do not care if they wear a suit or workout clothes. I do not care if they drive up in a Bentley or take the bus. Everyone gets treated the same, with dignity." "Have you ever had to fire an employee for discrimination?" Marcus asked. "Yes," Keisha said. "Twice. Once for racist comments to a black customer. Once for sexist behavior toward a female customer. I have zero tolerance for that behavior." Marcus hired her on the spot. Keisha brought in a diverse sales team. She hired 3 black salespeople, 2 Latino salespeople, 1 Asian American salesperson, 2 white salespeople who had strong records of community service. Everyone went through anti-discrimination training before they started. On the youth center side, Marcus hired teachers and mentors. He partnered with UCLA and USC. Business professors volunteered to teach evening classes. Former athletes came in to talk about sports entrepreneurship. Local business owners offered to mentor students. Jaden worked on the project every day. He helped design the sports entrepreneurship program. He picked out furniture for the classrooms. He tested the computers in the lab. He felt ownership of this space because it came from his pain. His girlfriend Amber came to help. She was good at design and helped choose paint colors. His best friend Devin volunteered too. He had ideas about the media room because he wanted to be a filmmaker. The 3 friends spent long afternoons at the construction site. They wore hard hats and walked through the unfinished rooms. They imagined young people learning here, growing here, building futures here. "This is going to change lives," Amber said one day. They stood in what would become the main classroom. "I hope so," Jaden said. "It already changed yours," Devin pointed out. "Look at you. 3 months ago you were just thinking about soccer and college. Now you are building something real." Jaden nodded. "I decided something. I want to delay college for a year." Amber turned to look at him. "What? You got into Howard, that is huge." "I know," Jaden said. "And I will go, just not this fall. I want to be here when the center opens. I want to help run it the first year. Make sure it works." Then I will go to Howard." "Does your dad know?" Devon asked. "Not yet," Jaden said. "I am going to tell him tonight." That evening, Jaden found his father in the home office. Marcus was on a video call with the architect. Jaden waited until the call ended. "Dad, I need to talk to you about something," Jaden said. "Sit down," Marcus said. Jaden sat in the chair across from the desk. "I want to delay starting college. Just for 1 year, I want to stay here and help launch the center." Marcus was quiet for a moment. "You worked hard to get into Howard. You should go." "I will go," Jaden said. "Just 1 year later. Dad, this center exists because of what happened to me. I need to be part of it. I need to see it through." "Jaden, you do not have to." "I want to," Jaden interrupted. "Please, this matters to me." Marcus looked at his son. He saw determination in Jaden's eyes. He saw maturity that was not there 4 months ago. 1 year, Marcus said. "Then you go to Howard." "No excuses." "Deal," Jaden said. While construction continued, the story finally became public. The Los Angeles Times published a full article about what happened. The headline read, "Beverly Hills dealership manager fired after racially profiling black teen." The article included interviews with Marcus and Jaden. It described what happened that day. It included statements from witnesses. It showed photos of the building under construction. Within hours, the story went viral. News websites picked it up. Social media exploded with reactions. People shared their own experiences of being racially profiled in stores and businesses. The hashtag Justice for Jaden trended on Twitter. Videos that customers recorded that day appeared online. Millions of people watched Caitlin pull Jaden from the Ferrari. They heard her cold laugh. They saw her call the police. They watched Jaden stand outside with officers surrounding him. Public opinion was overwhelmingly on Jaden's side. But some people criticized Marcus. They said he was using his wealth as a weapon. They said he destroyed Caitlin's life over one mistake. Marcus agreed to appear on a morning news show. Jaden came with him. They sat on a couch across from the host, a woman named Patricia Reynolds. "Mr. Williams, some critics say your response was extreme," Patricia said. "Was buying the building really necessary?" "Let me ask you something," Marcus said. "If your child was grabbed and humiliated, if police were called because someone decided your child looked like a criminal, if your child stood on a sidewalk terrified they might die, what would you do?" Patricia paused. "I would want justice." "So do I," Marcus said. "But I also want change. Buying that building allows me to create a space where young people will never experience what my son experienced. That is not revenge. That is progress." "Jaden, how are you doing now?" Patricia asked. "I am okay," Jaden said. "I am working on the youth center, turning something bad into something good. That helps." The interview ended. More media requests came in. Marcus and Jaden did 3 more television interviews. Each time, Marcus explained his vision. Each time, Jaden talked about wanting to help other kids. Caitlin Morrison watched all the interviews from her small apartment. She had not found a new job. Her savings were almost gone. Her daughter Madison moved in with her father full-time. Her son Connor barely spoke to her. She took a job as a cashier at a discount store. The pay was minimum wage, $8.50 per hour. She worked 40 hours a week and could barely pay rent. One afternoon, a black teenager came through her checkout line. He wore a basketball uniform covered in dirt. Caitlin felt her heart race. She felt old thoughts forming. Judgments about why he was dressed that way. Assumptions about who he was. Then she stopped. She looked at the boy's face and saw Jaden. She realized she could have ruined his entire life. For the first time, real guilt hit her. That night, Caitlin sat at her kitchen table with a pen and paper. Caitlin stared at the blank paper for a long time. She picked up the pen 3 times and put it down 3 times. Writing an apology felt impossible. What words could fix what she did? But she had to try. She wrote slowly, "Dear Jaden Williams." She crossed it out. Too formal. She tried again. "Jaden." Better. I am writing to apologize for what I did to you. I was wrong. I grabbed you. I called the police. I lied and said you were aggressive. None of that was true. I made assumptions about you based on how you looked, based on your skin color. That was racist. I did not want to admit that word applied to me, but it does." Caitlin stopped writing. Her hand shook. She wiped tears from her face and continued. "I could have gotten you killed. I understand that now. I see your face when I close my eyes. I see how scared you were. I did that to you. I am sorry. I know sorry is not enough. I know I destroyed your trust. I know I caused you trauma. I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not expect anything. I just needed you to know that I am truly sorry. I am trying to be better. I am trying to understand my prejudices so I never hurt someone like this again." She signed her name at the bottom. She folded the letter and put it in an envelope. She addressed it to Jaden Williams in care of the Williams Youth Business Center. She mailed it the next day. 2 weeks passed, then 3. Caitlin did not expect a response. She went to work every day. She came home to her empty apartment. She attended a free community workshop about racial bias at the public library. She started reading books about racism and discrimination. She was trying. It was hard and uncomfortable, but she was trying. The letter arrived at the construction site on a Thursday afternoon in November. A worker handed it to Jaden. He looked at the return address, Caitlin Morrison. Jaden held the envelope for several minutes without opening it. His stomach felt tight. He found his father in what would soon be the main office of the youth center. "I got a letter," Jaden said. "From her." Marcus looked up from the construction plans he was reviewing. "Do you want to read it?" "I do not know," Jaden said honestly. "You do not have to," Marcus said. "You can throw it away. You do not owe her anything." Jaden sat down in a folding chair. "But what if I need to read it? What if not reading it keeps me stuck?" "Then read it," Marcus said. "But read it when you are ready, not before." Jaden put the letter in his backpack. He carried it around for 2 days. Finally, on Saturday morning, he opened it. He sat on his bed and read Caitlin's words. When he finished, he did not know how to feel. Part of him was still angry. Part of him was sad. Part of him wondered if her apology was real. He showed the letter to his father. Marcus read it in silence. "What do you think?" Jaden asked. "I think she is beginning to understand what she did," Marcus said. "Whether that understanding leads to real change, only time will tell." "Should I write back?" Marcus handed the letter back to Jaden. "That is your decision, not mine. You get to decide what forgiveness looks like for you." Jaden thought about it for 3 days. He talked to Amber. She said forgiveness was personal and he should do what felt right. He talked to Devin. Devin said Caitlin did not deserve forgiveness. He talked to his father again. "What does forgiveness mean to you?" Jaden asked. "Forgiveness is not about what someone deserves," Marcus said. "It is about what you need for your own peace. Carrying hate is heavy, Jaden. It weighs you down. Forgiveness lets you put that weight down. But forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean trust. It just means you release the poison so it does not hurt you anymore." Finally, Jaden wrote a short response. He kept it simple. "Caitlin, I accept your apology. I do not forget what happened, but I will not let hate poison my future. I hope you truly learn and grow from this experience. Jaden Williams." He mailed the letter and felt something lift from his chest. Not everything, but something. December arrived. The Williams Youth Business Center was complete. The transformation was incredible. Half of the old dealership was now a modern educational facility. Bright classrooms with new desks and computers, a media lab with video equipment and editing stations, a commercial kitchen with professional appliances, a comfortable lounge area with books about business and entrepreneurship. The other half was Williams Premium Motors. Keisha Johnson had built an excellent team. The dealership was clean and professional. Every customer was treated with respect. Sales were already strong. Marcus planned a grand opening for the second Saturday in December. He invited local politicians, business leaders, community members, and media. Over 300 people confirmed they would attend. The night before the opening, Jaden could not sleep. He was nervous and excited. This center came from the worst day of his life. Tomorrow, it would become something real, something that mattered. The morning of the grand opening was clear and cool. Workers set up chairs on the youth center side of the building. They hung a banner that said, "Williams Youth Business Center, where everyone belongs." They set up tables with food and refreshments. People started arriving at 10 o'clock. The mayor of Los Angeles came with 2 city council members. William Grant arrived in a black town car. He was 73 years old with white hair and kind eyes. He hugged Marcus like a son. "You did something beautiful here," William said. "We did it together," Marcus replied. "Thank you for believing in me all those years ago." "I always knew you would change the world," William said. News crews set up cameras. Reporters interviewed people as they arrived. Parents brought their teenage children to see the facility. Young people walked through the classrooms, touching the new computers and sitting at the desks. At 11 o'clock, Marcus stood at a podium in front of the crowd. Everyone quieted down. Cameras pointed at him. "Thank you all for coming," Marcus said. "6 months ago, my son experienced something that no young person should experience. He was racially profiled. He was grabbed and humiliated. Police were called. He stood on a sidewalk terrified for his life, all because someone looked at him and made assumptions based on his skin color." The crowd was silent. "I could have responded with just anger," Marcus continued. "I could have sued for damages and walked away, but anger alone does not create change. So instead, we built this. A place where young people of all backgrounds can learn and grow. A place where everyone is judged by their character and their effort, not by their appearance. A place where everyone truly belongs." People clapped. Marcus stepped back from the podium. "I was going to give a speech," Marcus said, "but I think my son should speak instead. Jaden, come up here." Jaden stood. His legs felt shaky. He walked to the podium. 300 people looked at him. Cameras recorded everything. He took a deep breath. "My name is Jaden Williams," he said. His voice was quiet at first. Then it grew stronger. "6 months ago, I walked into a car dealership excited about my birthday. I sat in a Ferrari to take a picture. A woman grabbed me and pulled me out. She called the police. She said I tried to steal the car. She said I was aggressive. None of that was true. But the police came anyway. I stood outside for 30 minutes thinking I might die. I was 17 years old, and I thought I was going to die." Some people in the crowd had tears in their eyes. "That day, I felt powerless," Jaden said. "I felt small. I felt like I did not belong in that space. I felt like no matter what I said or did, people would only see my skin color. That feeling was terrible. It was the worst feeling of my life." Jaden paused. He looked at his father standing to the side. Marcus nodded encouragement. "But my dad taught me something," Jaden continued. "He taught me that power comes in many forms. Power comes from education. Power comes from community. Power comes from refusing to accept injustice. Power comes from people who use their resources to create change instead of just complaining about problems. This center exists so other young people never have to feel powerless," Jaden said. His voice was strong now, confident. "This is a place where you belong, no matter what you wear, no matter where you come from, no matter what you look like. You belong here. You deserve opportunities. You deserve respect. You deserve a chance to build your dreams." The crowd stood up. People clapped and cheered. Some wiped tears from their faces. Jaden stepped back from the podium. His father hugged him. When the applause died down, Marcus returned to the microphone. "I have one more announcement. I am establishing a $10 million scholarship fund for students who participate in center programs. Any student who completes our business curriculum and maintains good grades will be eligible for college scholarships. We will not let financial barriers stop talented young people from reaching their potential." The crowd erupted again. People clapped and shouted. Parents looked at each other with hope in their eyes. After the speeches, everyone toured the facility. Young people sat at computers and tested the internet speed. They looked at the video equipment in the media lab. They explored the commercial kitchen. Parents talked to teachers and mentors about enrollment. Marcus and Jaden stood together near the entrance. They watched people explore the space they built together. "Your mother would be proud," Marcus said quietly. "I wish she could see this," Jaden said. "She can," Marcus said. "I believe that." A young black boy, maybe 13 years old, walked past them. He wore a dirty football uniform. Grass stains covered his knees. His cleats were caked with mud. He walked confidently through the doors without fear, without hesitation. Marcus watched the boy enter. His eyes got wet. Jaden saw his father's expression. He put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Neither of them spoke. They did not need to. They built this. A place where that boy could walk in wearing dirty clothes and no one would grab him. No one would call the police. No one would judge him. He would just be a kid who belonged. Across town, in a small apartment in Inglewood, Caitlin Morrison sat on her couch. The television was on. The local news showed footage of the Williams Youth Business Center grand opening. She saw Jaden give his speech. She heard him talk about feeling powerless, about feeling like he did not belong. She did that to him. She made him feel that way. Caitlin had received Jaden's response letter 2 weeks ago. She framed it and hung it on her wall. "I accept your apology." Not forgiveness, not friendship, just acceptance. It was more than she deserved. She watched Marcus announce the $10 million scholarship fund. She watched young people explore the center with excitement on their faces. She watched something beautiful rise from the pain she caused. Caitlin turned off the television. She sat in silence. Then she stood up and got ready for her evening shift at the discount store. She had to work. She had bills to pay. But for the first time in months, she felt something other than despair. She felt the possibility of redemption. Not today. Maybe not ever. But possibly. The Williams Youth Business Center opened for regular operations on Monday morning. Marcus hired a full-time director named Patricia Hayes to manage daily activities. She was a 52-year-old black woman with 30 years of experience in nonprofit education. She arrived at 6:30 in the morning to prepare for the first day. Jaden came with her. He was not officially staff, but he wanted to be there. He helped Patricia set up the computer lab and put out welcome materials. At 8 o'clock, they unlocked the doors. 15 young people showed up that first day. They were nervous and quiet. They looked around the clean, bright space with careful eyes. By the end of the week, 40 students had enrolled. By the end of the first month, over 200 young people were participating in programs. The center offered classes every afternoon and evening, business fundamentals on Monday and Wednesday, computer coding on Tuesday and Thursday, sports entrepreneurship on Friday. The commercial kitchen ran on Saturday mornings teaching culinary business skills. One student was a 16-year-old Latina girl named Sofia Rodriguez. She lived in East Los Angeles with her mother and 3 younger siblings. Her mother cleaned houses for work. Sofia dreamed of starting her own clothing line but had no idea where to begin. She came to the center on a Wednesday afternoon in January. Patricia greeted her at the door. "Welcome," Patricia said warmly. "Is this your first time here?" "Yes, ma'am," Sofia said. She held her backpack tight against her chest. "I saw the center on the news. I want to learn about starting a business." "You came to the right place," Patricia said. "Come with me." Patricia introduced Sofia to Marcus, who was visiting that day. Marcus shook Sofia's hand and asked about her business idea. "I want to design clothes," Sofia said. "Affordable clothes for girls like me, girls who cannot shop at expensive stores but still want to look good." "That is an excellent idea," Marcus said. "There is a real market for that. Have you done any designs yet?" Sofia pulled a notebook from her backpack. It was filled with sketches, dresses, shirts, pants, all drawn in careful detail with notes about fabrics and colors. Marcus looked through the pages. "Sophia, you have talent, real talent. Our business class can teach you how to turn these designs into an actual company, how to source materials, how to price products, how to market and sell." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "Really? You think I can do this?" "I know you can," Marcus said. Sophia enrolled in the Monday and Wednesday business classes. She worked with mentors who taught her about business plans and startup costs. 4 months later, she launched a small clothing website. She made her first sale to a girl in Arizona, then another to someone in Texas. Her business was growing. 2 brothers named Marcus and Malcolm Jones also became regular students. They were 17-year-old black twins from Inglewood. They both loved sports and wanted to create a sports media company. They came to the center to use the video equipment in the media lab. Jaden met them on a Friday afternoon. The twins were filming each other practicing basketball commentary. Jaden watched for a few minutes. "You guys are good," Jaden said. "Thanks," Marcus Jones said. "We want to start a YouTube channel about high school sports in Los Angeles. Nobody covers that. Everyone focuses on college and professional sports. But there are amazing athletes in high schools that nobody knows about." "That is a great idea," Jaden said. "Have you thought about the business side, how to monetize the channel?" "Not really," Malcolm admitted. "We just know we love sports and we love making videos." "Come to the sports entrepreneurship class on Friday nights," Jaden said. "We talk about exactly that stuff, how to build a brand, how to make money from content." The twins started attending every Friday. They learned about sponsorships and advertising. They learned about building an audience. 6 months later, their YouTube channel had 20,000 subscribers. Local businesses started paying them to advertise. Stories like these happened every week. The center changed lives. Young people who thought they had no opportunities discovered they had skills and potential. Parents who worked 2 jobs found a safe place where their children could learn and grow. The Los Angeles Times did a follow-up article in February. It featured Sophia and the Jones twins. It showed photos of the computer lab filled with students. The article described the center as a model for how wealthy individuals could use their resources to create community change. National news outlets noticed. Marcus and Jaden were invited to appear on a morning show in New York. They flew there in March. They sat on a couch in the television studio with bright lights shining on them. The host, a man named Robert Chen, asked Marcus about critics who said he used his wealth as a weapon. "Some people say you destroyed Caitlin Morrison's life," Robert said. "They say you took revenge too far. How do you respond to that?" Marcus leaned forward slightly. "Caitlin Morrison made a choice. She grabbed my 17-year-old son. She called police and lied. She said he was aggressive when he was not. Her actions could have gotten Jaden killed. Those are facts. Now there are consequences for those facts. That is not revenge. That is accountability." "But she lost her job," Robert said. "She lost her income. Some would say she has suffered enough." "Has she?" Marcus asked. "My son has trauma that will last years, maybe his whole life. He cannot walk into certain spaces without feeling fear now. That is damage she caused. She served him for a few weeks. Is that equal? Is that justice?" Robert turned to Jaden. "Jaden, you wrote back to her apology letter. What made you decide to respond?" "My dad taught me that holding on to hate hurts me more than it hurts her," Jaden said. "I accepted her apology because I needed to let go of some of the anger. But accepting an apology is not the same as forgetting what happened. I will never forget." The interview continued for 10 more minutes. When it aired, millions of people watched. Social media exploded with reactions. Some people praised Marcus for holding Caitlin accountable. Others said he was too harsh. The debate continued for weeks. Through all of this, Caitlin Morrison worked at the discount store. She rang up purchases. She dealt with angry customers. She took her 30-minute lunch break in the back room eating sandwiches she made at home to save money. She moved from her apartment in Culver City to a cheaper place in Inglewood. 1 bedroom, no dishwasher, thin walls where she could hear her neighbors arguing. Her daughter Madison refused to visit. Madison was embarrassed by her mother, embarrassed by where she lived, embarrassed by what she did. Her son Connor came once a month for awkward dinners. He was 14 now, quiet. He did not know what to say to his mother. The conversations were painful. Caitlin watched every interview Marcus and Jaden did. She saw them on the morning shows. She read every article about the youth center. She followed the center's social media accounts and saw photos of happy students learning and growing. She attended the racial bias workshop at the library every Tuesday evening. She read books with titles like White Fragility and How to Be an Anti-Racist. The reading was hard. It forced her to confront uncomfortable truths about herself, about how she moved through the world, about assumptions she made without thinking. One Tuesday evening in April, the workshop facilitator asked everyone to share a personal experience of when they realized they had prejudice. Caitlin raised her hand. Her voice shook when she spoke. "I racially profiled a teenager," she said. "I grabbed him and called the police. I lied and said he was aggressive. I could have gotten him killed. I lost my job, my family, everything. But that is not the worst part. The worst part is I did not even know I was racist. I thought I was just doing my job. I thought I was protecting property. I could not see that I treated him that way because he was black." Several people in the group nodded. They understood the difficulty of that realization. "What have you learned?" the facilitator asked. "That my prejudice was invisible to me," Caitlin said. "It felt normal, natural. I made assumptions so fast I did not even notice I was making them. Now I notice. Now I question my thoughts. It is exhausting, but necessary." After the workshop, an older black woman approached Caitlin in the parking lot. "I heard your story on the news," the woman said. "You hurt that boy badly." "I know," Caitlin said. "I am so sorry." "Sorry does not undo damage," the woman said. "But growth matters. Keep doing this work, not for him, for yourself, so you never hurt another child." Caitlin nodded. Tears ran down her face. "I will. I promise I will." The months passed. Spring turned to summer. The Williams Youth Business Center celebrated its 6-month anniversary. Patricia Hayes organized a small event with cake and music. Over 100 students attended. Sofia Rodriguez brought samples of her clothing line. The Jones twins filmed the whole party for their YouTube channel. Jaden moved through the crowd talking to students. He knew most of them by name now. He knew their dreams, their struggles, their families. This center had become his purpose. Marcus watched his son from across the room. William Grant stood next to him. "That boy has found his calling," William said. "He has," Marcus agreed. "This experience broke something in him, but it also built something stronger." "Like his father," William said. Marcus smiled slightly. "He is better than me, less angry, more hopeful. He believes people can change." "Can they?" William asked. Marcus thought about Caitlin's letter, about her apology, about her attendance at workshops, and her attempt to grow. "Some can," Marcus said. "Maybe." In August, Jaden received another letter from Caitlin. This one was different. She did not apologize again. She just told him about the work she was doing, the workshops, the books, the difficult process of confronting her racism. She wrote, "I do not expect you to care about my journey. I do not deserve your attention. But I wanted you to know that what happened changed me too. I will spend the rest of my life making sure I never cause that kind of harm again. Thank you for accepting my apology. It meant more than you know." Jaden showed the letter to his father. "What do you think?" Marcus asked. "I think she is trying," Jaden said. I do not know if that is enough, but it is something. It is something, Marcus agreed. Jaden folded the letter and put it in his desk drawer. He did not write back this time. He did not need to. Some things could just exist without response. He had a youth center to help run. He had students to mentor. He had a future to build. September arrived. Jaden turned 18 years old. That difficult day at the dealership happened 1 year and 3 months ago. Sometimes it felt like yesterday. Sometimes it felt like a lifetime ago. The Williams Youth Business Center had grown beyond anything they imagined. Over 500 young people had participated in programs. 15 students received college scholarships from Marcus's fund. 3 students started successful small businesses. Sophia Rodriguez now employed 2 people to help make her clothing designs. The Jones twins' YouTube channel had over 100,000 subscribers and was generating real income. Jaden spent the year working at the center every day. He mentored students. He helped design new programs. He spoke at high schools about entrepreneurship and overcoming adversity. But now it was time for the next step. He sat with his father in the center's main office on a Thursday afternoon. Patricia Hayes was at a meeting with teachers. The building was quiet. "I got my housing assignment at Howard," Jaden said. "Drew Hall, 3rd floor." Marcus looked up from his laptop. "When do you leave?" 2 weeks. Classes start September 21st. "Are you ready?" Marcus asked. "I think so," Jaden said. "I am nervous, but excited too. I want to study business. I want to learn everything I can so I can come back and make this center even better." "You already made it better," Marcus said. "None of this would exist without you. Your ideas, your voice, your heart." "It exists because of what happened to me," Jaden said quietly. "Sometimes I still think about that day, standing on the sidewalk with those police officers, thinking I might die. I get scared when I remember it." Marcus closed his laptop. He gave Jaden his full attention. "That fear is normal. Trauma does not just disappear. But look what you built from it. Look at the students whose lives you changed. That is power, Jaden. Real power." "I want to keep doing this work," Jaden said. "At Howard. After Howard. Forever. I want to fight against discrimination. I want to create opportunities. I want to make sure no other kid feels what I felt that day." "You will," Marcus said. "I have no doubt." Patricia Hayes organized a going-away celebration for Jaden. It happened on a Saturday afternoon in mid-September. Over 200 people crowded into the center. Students, teachers, mentors, community members. Sophia Rodriguez was there with her mother. The Jones twins set up their camera equipment to film everything. Tables were filled with food. Someone made a cake decorated with the Howard University logo, blue and white frosting. "Good luck, Jaden," written across the top. At 2 o'clock, Marcus stood up to speak. The crowd quieted down. "Thank you all for coming," Marcus said. "We are here to celebrate my son before he leaves for college. Jaden worked at this center for a full year. He gave his time, his energy, his passion. Many of you know him as a mentor, a friend, someone who believed in you. I know him as my son, and I could not be more proud." People clapped. Marcus stepped back and gestured for Jaden to come forward. Jaden stood at the front of the room. He looked at all the faces watching him. Students he had mentored, friends he had made, his father standing to the side with his arms crossed and a small smile on his face. "I do not really know what to say," Jaden started. "A year ago, I was just a kid who liked soccer and video games. I did not think much about injustice or inequality. I thought the world was mostly fair. Then I had one really bad day, the worst day of my life, and that day changed everything." The room was completely silent. "I learned that people will judge you based on how you look," Jaden said. "They will make decisions about who you are before you even speak. That is terrifying. But I also learned something else. I learned that we can fight back, not with violence, not with just anger, but by building something, by creating spaces where everyone actually belongs. That is what this center is. That is what all of you make it every single day." Sophia wiped tears from her eyes. One of the Jones twins filmed while the other one stood next to him, nodding. "I am going to Howard University," Jaden continued. "I am going to study business and social justice. I am going to learn everything I can, and then I am coming back. Because this is my home, this center, this community. You are my home. And I will never stop fighting for spaces like this, spaces where young people can dream without fear." Everyone stood up. They clapped and cheered. Some people whistled. Marcus walked over and hugged his son. Jaden felt his father's arms tight around him and felt safe. After the speeches, people ate cake and talked. Jaden moved through the crowd having conversations, saying temporary goodbyes, promising to stay in touch. Sophia approached him near the end of the party. "Thank you for believing in me," she said. "When I first came here, I thought my dream was impossible. You made me believe I could do it." "You did it yourself," Jaden said. "I just showed you the tools. You did all the work." "Still," Sophia said. "Thank you." The Jones twins came over next. "We are going to keep making videos about this center," Marcus Jones said. "We are going to show everyone what is happening here. Make sure the whole city knows." "I will watch every single one," Jaden promised. The party ended at 5 o'clock. People left in small groups. Jaden stayed to help clean up. He threw away paper plates and folded tables with his father and Patricia. When everything was clean, the three of them stood in the empty main room. "This place is special," Patricia said. "You both created something that will last for generations." "You run it," Marcus said to her. "You make it work every day." "We all make it work," Patricia said. "That is the point." 2 weeks later, Marcus drove Jaden to the airport. LAX was crowded with travelers. They parked and walked inside together. Jaden had 2 large suitcases and a backpack. They stood near the security checkpoint. This was where they had to say goodbye. "Call me when you land," Marcus said. "I will," Jaden promised, "and call me regularly, not just texts, actual calls." "I will, Dad." Marcus pulled Jaden into a hug. He held on longer than usual. When they separated, his eyes were wet. "Your mother would be so proud of you," Marcus said. "I wish she could see the man you are becoming." "I think she can," Jaden said. "I think so too," Marcus agreed. Jaden picked up his bags. He walked toward security. He turned back once and waved. Marcus waved back. Then Jaden disappeared into the crowd. Marcus stood there for several minutes after his son was gone. Then he walked back to his car and drove to the Williams Youth Business Center. Patricia was in the office when he arrived. "How are you feeling?" she asked. "Empty," Marcus admitted. "The house will be too quiet." "He will be back for Thanksgiving," Patricia said, "and winter break, and then summer. You will see him plenty." "I know," Marcus said. "It is still hard." Marcus spent more time at the center after Jaden left. He came 3 or 4 times per week instead of once. He taught a class about entrepreneurship on Wednesday evenings. He met with students one-on-one to discuss their business ideas. He found purpose in this work. Williams Premium Motors continued to thrive on the other side of the building. Keisha Johnson ran the dealership with excellence and integrity. They sold luxury vehicles to customers of all backgrounds. Every person who walked through the door received respect and attention. The dealership had the highest customer satisfaction ratings in Beverly Hills. One afternoon in October, a wealthy white businessman came to look at a Mercedes. He was rude to the salespeople and demanding. Keisha watched him treat her staff poorly for 20 minutes. Finally, she walked over. "Sir, I need to ask you to leave," Keisha said calmly. "Excuse me?" the man said. "I'm trying to buy a car." "We do not serve customers who disrespect our staff," Keisha said. "You have been rude and condescending. You can purchase a vehicle elsewhere." The man's face turned red. "Do you know who I am?" "I do not care who you are," Keisha said. "Everyone follows the same rules here. Respect is required. You are asked to leave." The man left angrily. He posted a negative review online, but dozens of customers posted positive responses praising Keisha's leadership. The story was shared on social media. More people came to Williams Premium Motors specifically because of how Keisha handled that situation. Marcus heard about the incident and called Keisha. "You did exactly right," he said. "I learned from the best," Keisha replied. "You built this place on values. I am just protecting them." December came. The center celebrated its one-year anniversary. They organized a community event with food and music and speeches. Over 400 people attended. Students performed spoken-word poetry and sang songs. Parents thanked Marcus and Patricia for creating a safe space for their children. Jaden flew home from Howard for winter break. He walked into the center and felt overwhelming emotion. This was his place, his project, his heart. He spent 3 weeks at home. He worked at the center every day. He caught up with Sophia and the Jones twins and other students. He told them about Howard, about his classes, about the other students who shared his passion for social justice. On his last day home before flying back to school, Jaden and Marcus stood outside the center. It was a Saturday afternoon in early January. The weather was cool and clear. The sign above the entrance read, "Williams Youth Business Center, where everyone belongs." "I am glad I took that gap year," Jaden said. "I needed to be here, to help build this, to understand what we created." "I am glad too," Marcus said. "You made this place what it is." They stood in comfortable silence. Then Jaden saw something that made him smile. A young black boy walked down the sidewalk toward the center. He looked about 13 years old. He wore a dirty football uniform. Grass stains covered his pants. His cleats were muddy. His jersey was sweaty. The boy walked right up to the entrance. He did not hesitate, did not look around nervously, did not worry about being judged. He just pulled open the door and walked inside with confidence. Marcus saw the boy too, his eyes filled with tears. He did not wipe them away this time. "That is why we did this," Marcus said quietly. "That boy can walk in here wearing anything and no one will grab him. No one will call the police. No one will judge him. He belongs. He knows he belongs." Jaden put his hand on his father's shoulder. "We changed something, Dad. Not everything, but something. Something is enough," Marcus said. "Something is where change starts." They watched through the glass doors as the boy checked in at the front desk. Patricia greeted him warmly. She walked him toward the computer lab. He sat down at a station and logged in. He was home. Marcus and Jaden stood together in silence, father and son. Two people who took the worst day and transformed it into something beautiful, something lasting. Inside, young people of every background worked on computers and attended classes and dreamed about their futures. Outside, Marcus and Jaden understood what they had built. Not just a building, not just programs, not just opportunities. They built a place where everyone truly belongs, where young people can walk in with dirty clothes and tired bodies and still be seen as worthy, as capable, as full of potential. This was the legacy. This was the answer to that terrible day. This was how they turned pain into purpose and injustice into change. The sun moved lower in the sky. The lights inside the center glowed warm against the coming evening. Marcus and Jaden stood side by side watching their dream live and breathe. And in that moment, everything they fought for felt worth it. If you enjoyed today's video, I'm sure you'll love the next one. Don't waste time. Just click on the screen.